Thank you, Nancy and Rachel, and Carolyn and Henry. And I want to congratulate all the recipients tonight. It's a special evening for all of us. And judging from the dancing and the crowd, I would say that mental illness, mental health is sexy. We agree. No one ever imagines he or she will be standing on a platform being recognized for inspiring people about mental health. But not imagining does not lessen the pride I feel tonight on receiving the Royal's Inspiration Award. From the moment 6 years ago when I became a card-carrying member of Women for Mental Health, I paid my dues, I have felt myself to be part of the royal family. Je sens que je fais partie de la famille du Royal et je suis très contente d'être parmi vous ce soir. In accepting this award, I want to thank all those on the Sharon team at the Royal and in the Governor General's office who provided me with the tools to learn about and advocate for mental health in our country and various parts of the world. D'un océan à l'autre, j'ai eu le privilège d'être témoin de pratiques novatrices visant à améliorer la santé mentale. Les préjugés associés à la dépression ou aux problèmes d'anxiété diminuent. Cependant, il reste encore du travail à faire. When it comes to the big picture of mental health awareness and stigma, the overall good news is that our military, public service, and non-public workplaces are honestly addressing the reality that good people can get sick. The stigma of admitting to depression or anxiety is on the wane. However, there is still an elephant in the room, which is the fear that continues to exist towards those with serious mental illness. This association, which views people with mental illness as potentially violent or dangerous, has at least two negative effects. One, it makes people afraid to get to know someone with mental illness or admit that it exists in their family. And two, it makes those with mental illness less likely to come forward to get help because they don't want to be labeled as potentially dangerous. Yet mental illness rarely leads to violence. Very few of those with serious mental illness pose any threat to others. It is the rare exception rather than the rule. Thank you. So let me end these remarks with a plea. I ask that every Canadian get to know someone with serious mental illness in our 150th anniversary. J'aimerais que chaque personne apprenne à connaître quelqu'un ayant une grave maladie mentale. You might find this person in your place of worship, sports team or school, athletic or book club, or any place you happen to be. People with serious mental illness have families, hobbies, talents, quirks, and passions, just like you and me. Let us all get to know each other, and that harmful and counterproductive fear will go away. I would like to share a poem in closing that was handwritten by Old Order Mennonite school children for me about prejudice and fear. It was presented to me as a Christmas present at their annual Christmas concert. Once we got to know each other, although our outward lives seemed so different, they were buggy people, we drove cars, and I must say we had the occasional glass of wine, and they didn't, or they said they didn't. Our inner lives were very much the same. The poem is entitled, When You Get to Know a Fellow. When you get to know a fellow, know his joys and his cares, when you've come to understand him and the burdens that he bears, when you've learned the fight he's making and the troubles in his way, then you find that he is different than you thought him yesterday. You find his faults are trivial, and there's not so much to blame in the brother that you jeered at when you only knew his name. You are quick to see the blemish in the distant neighbor's style. you can point to all his airs and may sneer at him a while. And your prejudices fatten, and your hates more violent grow, as you talk about the failures of the man you do not know. But when drawn a little closer, and your hands and shoulders touch, you find the traits you hated really don't amount to much. When you get to know a fellow, know his every mood and whim, you begin to find the texture of the splendid side of him. You begin to understand him, and you cease to scoff and sneer, for with understanding always prejudices disappear. Merci encore de cette marque de reconnaissance. J'essaierai d'y faire honneur. Thank you again for this honor. I will try to deserve it.